bring in Eric Mandel. He's the founder and director of the Middle East Political Information Network. He's also a senior editor for security at the Jerusalem Report. Welcome, Eric. Could be a very important day. In 45 minutes or so, we will know, or we should know, whether or not this plan, the latest in a long line of plans to end the war in Gaza and bring home the hostages, will go through. What are your thoughts at this stage?
Well, I think, first of all, hello, Laura. This 21-point plan is an aspirational plan, and it's beyond just a hostage deal or a ceasefire deal. It has so many other elements in it. From an Israeli political point of view, I kind of think we may be dealing with a kabuki dance here. I think that Israel has helped shape this document. I think Jared Kushner's input, you can see Yerma's input that's in here, maybe even Tony Blair. So I think Israel is okay with this document. Bibi cannot say no to it because the hostages are front-loaded up front. But it is 21 points and thousands upon thousands of details that are missing. I think, I heard somebody earlier talk about, well, Hamas is not going to sign, the PA is not going to sign, who's going to sign? I think we need to look at this as an outside-in document, like the Abraham Accord. It's not giving the Palestinians a veto, even though it's all about Palestinians, and getting the moderate Arab states on board. We've kind of grouped, and I was just listening to some other people talk about the Arab states, but remember, Qatar and the Saudis and UAE, they all think very differently about their interests with the United States and with Israel going forward. And then there's so many flies in the ointment that have just occurred. New issues. Hamas wants to have withdrawal time. When is Israel going to leave? Israel wants to stay as long as possible. Israel wants to know if threats come up, intelligence come up, is Israel going to be able to strike in Gaza with international forces there if they don't act like they do in Lebanon? So there are so many questions. Who's going to disarm Hamas? The multinational force says now that it may only be on the borders. So who's going to be inside? The one thing I can tell you is that I've just come back from Israel and talking with people across the political spectrum. Nobody honestly believes that anyone other than the IDF can do this. And then if Israel continues its offensive because Hamas is not agreeing, I don't see the international community certainly coming on board. But will President Trump lose his patience? We here in the West, 6,000 miles away, look through a Western timeline. The president wants things done quickly. You live in a world that lives in decades and centuries with patient adversaries.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just hearing, Eric, that Prime Minister Netanyahu actually got on the phone to the Emir of Qatar, Al Thani, and apologized to him for violating Qatari sovereignty during that strike on the Hamas leadership in Doha, a failed strike, as it turned out, last month. Just your thoughts on that and how much of a role Qatar has in all of this?
Well, it's like the Mavi Marama, where Israel apologized to Turkey many years ago. I think President Trump twisted Bibi's arm to make an apology. And that doesn't cost a lot if Bibi gets many other things here. And Bibi is also, we have to have the overlay, not forgetting that there's the political implications of everything he's doing. Bibi may want the coalition to fall. He may want Ben-Gvir and Smolders to go away for their hardline positions. He may see that putting him in a better position going down the road for elections, maybe early elections. So with the Qataris, I was in Doha in May 2023. They told me that Mossad was there every month. They have relations that the Americans told them they wanted to have the bad guys there. Qatar is a frenemy. I think Trump and other American presidents, Democrats and Republicans, have really let them off the hook. I think we should be pressing Qatar to be more on my American national security interest side, and just having the Al Udeid Air Base is not enough. But on this issue, I think Qatar could be helpful. I know Qatar could push Hamas to concede. But the question is, what are they going to concede? Qatar wants them to keep arms, just not offensive arms. What the heck does that mean when you're dealing with a terrorist organization?
Right, and there are questions about the positions that the IDF will be able to keep after the war as well. And of course, the tunnel network, which has not been completely destroyed either. So there are significant security concerns still on the Israeli side. What about reconstruction in Gaza, Eric? Because the Arab countries have said they won't be spending a penny in Gaza until Hamas is disarmed and is out of the picture. And do you think reconstruction should be linked to other long-term policies for Gaza? For example, getting people who live in Gaza, who have stayed in Gaza through this war, to renounce the idea of being a refugee?
Well, that gets to that this is not just a ceasefire hostage deal. It really extends to the West Bank also. Supposedly, the deal going on will also end refugee status, which is going to be a very hard thing because giving up the right of return is what the PA is all about. And that dismantling the tunnels, just want to go back to that. Who's going to dismantle the tunnels other than Israel? So there are so many levels of complexity here of what will happen. Who's going to de-radicalize Hamas? Qatar. So Qatar could play a role, but I want it to be a minor role. I would like the Saudis and the Emiratis to bring in. And so it gets back to what your question was reconstruction. Reconstruction should be by moderate Arab states who might normalize with Israel as a friend, as opposed with the Qataris, who are the financiers of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is Hamas and Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and every other Sunni jihadist ideology.
Eric, great to talk to you as always. We appreciate your analysis. Thank you so much. Eric Mandel there.
My pleasure.